Build some. Hello everyone. Hopefully you've been able to get a set of Tonfa and that you've started already working on some of those grip exercises that I showed you last time. If you don't remember, you want to hold a Tonfa in each hand, short side facing your opponent. You want to kind of work on your grip, so pull with your bottom two fingers, these two right here, pull towards you to pull that Tonfa back into your forearm so it's nice and solid. Work on starting in the center, then go to the outside, back to the center, then to the inside, back to the center. And keep doing that until you start feeling some stress and some pain in your forearms, and stop, and then try to do it again. The idea is that you're going to start building up those muscles so that when you need that grip strength, it'll be available for you. So we're going to talk a little bit about why you need that grip strength. We're going to talk some today particularly about weapon control and weapon mindfulness with every weapon, whether it's a bow staff or a kama or a tonfa or a sword. You have to be mindful about where the weapon is and how you're supposed to use it at all times. It's really interesting with a tonfa because it seems pretty straightforward. It's just an extension, just a little extension really of your hand. So it's not a big difference, but the idea of how you wield it and how you use it needs to be in your mind at all times. And the special characteristics of this weapon need to be in your mind as well. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the more traditional things and traditional ways of striking and blocking, as well as how we're going to use those in universal martial arts in another video. But right now I just wanted to kind of talk to you about awareness and what you're going to do with these weapons. So the tonfa, very simply, for striking is easy. It's just like a regular punch. You can do all the punches that we do now. You can do just about everything the same way, just as if you were using your hands. Really convenient and really helpful. Matter of fact, you can even use the same stance that we use in open-handed martial arts, specifically universal martial art, in how we move, how you protect yourself, how you block is all very important. That's this direct translation from open hand to weapons, especially the tonfa. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a regular stance, just a right front stance, just like we would normally do. You're going to have your back hand a little bit back, ready to protect the side of your head. Your front hand is about the height of your heart, but out in front of you, giving that space so that you feel comfortable. And it doesn't matter which side it is. Same stance, just like you would do an open hand. So if I was to be standing here open hand, it would be the same way. So I'd have my hands the same way. It's exactly the same for a tonfa. The things that you got to be careful with, especially if you're using them in a combat situation, is where that handle head is. We talked about it being big enough that it fits just inside your finger and that your finger and your thumb don't really overlap. But that makes it a big piece of wood that's sticking out above your hands. So if you're blocking or trying to protect yourself from a strike from side to side, what you don't want to do is get into the habit that some fighters do where they hold their hands right in front of their face. If you hold your hand in front of your face and you take a hard strike, well, that handle grip, the end there, is going to go right into your face. So what you don't want to do is have it in front of your face. If you're going to block, you need to move it around your face and have your face to the side. The same thing goes if you're blocking overhead. So you don't want to block like this. If you're going to block a bow staff, you don't want to put it right here in front of your head. If it is a downward strike from a bow staff and you're trying to block that, you still block over your head, but remember, put the handle to the side of your head so that when you get the impact from that bow strike doesn't push that handle into your forehead, it comes to the side. So if you're doing a normal block, not a problem. You're reaching out in front of you and bringing it around. That's not a problem. The handle is not going to come that far back and hit you. It's when you get kind of in the heat of the moment and you're blocking stuff close and fast, you want to make sure that you know where that handle is. So don't put it in front of your face, don't put it on top of your head, and everything will work out okay. The other thing that you need to keep in mind, and this is a little bit more into the weapon control, is that when you use this weapon for longer range, you need to be able to throw it out and stop it, or bring it through and stop it as it comes around without hurting yourself, and in a way that gives you some accuracy so that you feel comfortable that you have control of that tonfa. So one of the things I want you to think about is if you're going to strike around and you're going to come all the way through, so you're going to strike through your opponent, you're going to need to put those brakes on right after it goes past your target so that it doesn't hurt yourself. It kind of impacts your arm just like you would do with a bow staff. We talked about how we could stop the backside of a bow staff with your arms, and your bicep's a great piece of meat there that is kind of a good cushion. So if you need to, let's say I struck and I missed, it's going to come all the way around and hit here. But remember that grip. So as you throw it out, you can stop it where you want to with that grip. And as it comes around, let's say you miss, as it comes around, you can stop it before it hits your arm. So I'm not really going to hit myself hard. I can stop it before it gets there. But remember, you have to keep in mind where the other tonfa is and where the end is going to come around. So what you don't want to do is have them come around or hit yourself in the elbow. So when you start swinging, that opposite hand has got to be out of the way. Does that make sense? You don't want to be up here, bring it around and whack yourself in the elbow. That's not a comfortable feeling. So as you do these strikes, make sure that the off hand is coming down. Now one of the things we did in kama practice when we were using that to control where that blade was, that is if we weren't using the hand, we kind of bring it down out of the way. You can do that for a tonfa as well, but if you also have it up and you're protecting yourself and you don't want to bring it down and get clocked in the side of the head, you can leave it up here. Just remember that when you throw it out, you need to clear that. It takes some practice and some time to get used to doing those things so you don't hit yourself. And to be honest, I still hit myself every once in a while, and it's a good reminder for myself to remember where my tonfa is. So, some things for you to think about as you get into training. Think about how and where you're going to use the tonfa, where the parts are, whether it's the front or the rear or the handle. Definitely don't want to get hit with this. So give it some thought, work on your grip practice. Remember, center, out, center, in, and just keep doing that. The stronger your grip is, the harder you can hold that tonfa against your arm, the least amount of pain you're going to get and feel transferred, or force you're going to get transferred into your arm, and the better you can put the brakes on if you want to strike certain areas. So something to think about. Let's get ready for this tonfa class. The next video I'm going to share with you has to do with striking and blocking. You'll be amazed how similar it is to what you're already doing, but we need to kind of cover these bases to get you ready. So keep working with your tonfa. If you don't have them yet, talk to Master Wilson and ask him to get a pair for you. Thank you. Pilsen.